Okay,
Sorry, no
now we
more
can go. Okay,
news.
okay, go.
All right, great. I'm glad we're recording because huge news just came in. There's a cat sitting on Deb Seeker's lap. Very important. All right.
Also, debatably is here.
Yeah, we like that guy. The entire thing of the chat is just popping in to say, Board Yoshi is now a speaker. Board Yoshi is now a speaker. Uh, um, essentially, what the meeting is going to be about, as said in the message, is it is going to be covering over strings, which is going to be the replacement for ascensions. As ascensions are Shoeless's move, and we're trying to make it a shift towards community challenges. And so, this entire meeting will be about looking through the past Ascension rule sets and some clips that were denied, and figuring out, do we think these should be Ascensions? Sorry, strings, I guess. Or what rules do we want to change? And the implementation of unwritten. Um, yes, I'm going to use Board Yoshi's fucking my DMs with Board Yoshi's as a stream for this. If you have problems, you can go home. All right. So first off, oh right, because he never responded to anything. In chat currently is the current FGFA rules of catch an income cube. Uh, yeah. Ascensions will still exist. I'm just doing this because Weavers shouldn't be based on people's moves. They should be based on community challenges, is the logic. Otherwise, you get rules changing inconsistently. Oh, hey, Straw
Oh,
Cat
hey,
Man's here. I
how's
like
it
that
going?
guy. And as we go down the history of FGFAs, I'll actually just put this entire Discord message into the meeting chat because I can do that. I have that power. As we go up the history, we can see that it clearly becomes uh, slowly more difficult as time went backwards, back in time. Um, with the original rule set saying that you must do a jump, no delays, maybe a fast enough jump, and the most current rule set saying that 80% jump height. And, well, the first question of the meeting is, does anyone think we should revert back to an earlier definition? Yes, Yoshi, you can blame me for how I'm handling this. Oh, oh. Oh, he's gonna summarize what I said. He's like the ASL interpreter, but insanity to somewhat regular words interpreter. What do you mean? I also think that flawless ascensions should exist, but like that's a slightly later discussion. Oh my god, you're so right, Sneak. Thank you. um, Now, as a conservative flicker, I always think of the good old days when Flick made sense and it wasn't all these newborns farming Flick moves. Um, but generally, I don't think any of the past rule sets were that much of a difference. Just more of a. The only thing that really changed was jump height, and the only thing that changed because of jump height was because I'm giving too much of an opinion here. I'm supposed to be a moderator for opinions. If anyone has any opinions, uh, raise your hand or something. I don't know how meetings work. Opinion. All right. Hand raised. All right. First, we'll go with Kills with Math. You're invited to speak. Oh, goodbye, Nova. Hello.
Hello. I think we should make it so you don't have to have flow. Mainly,
Um, to be clear, this current part of the meeting is specifically about whether we should revert the rules. We will talk about going to new rules, hidden rules, or adding clarifications to rules soon after this. But this specific part of the meeting is to talk about whether we should uh, go back to the previous rules and if there's anything we can take inspiration from or that we liked about the previous rules.
yeah, I like the jump height being more lax
Okay.
in the previous rules. That's basically all I know about the previous rules, though.
That's the biggest difference. All right. I'm going to. Is that all you have to say, Kills with Math? Because
Yeah.
terribly. All right. I'm going to kick you off the stage. Get kicked. All right. I invited Terrily on to speak. Yes.
I think we shouldn't revert, but a rework of the rules is more
Yes.
warranted to allow for flawless ascensions.
Okay. Everyone seems to really like flawless ascensions.
It would be nice for them to be less of, oh damn, this is not technically an ascension, but everyone will call it an ascension.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone would call a flawless ascension an ascension. But
Okay.
right now, they're technically not an ascension. And also, from what I've seen, from what I read just now, the main difference is just that
For
it came from just very specific combination of jumps to a jump height to more specific jump height.
Mhm.
And I think that's the only thing we could change is change the jump height requirement, but uh, that but reverting to the previous rules is, I think, wouldn't be a great idea, but mainly because it's just jump, no delays, maybe a fast enough jump, flick, jump. I don't think is a very interesting way of doing an ascension. Very limiting, not much to experiment. Yeah, I think I've said everything I wanted to say.
Yeah. It seems like everyone is in congruence here about not changing the past rules. Sorry, not changing to the past rules. Oh,
Hold on. Okay. So my proposal is, since the strings are more for weavers, the jump height requirement, I think it could, maybe this is just an idea, it could differ between the current 80% and the old like full jump, depending on
sorry.
which weaver it is.
Depending on the weaver, have a different jump height requirement. Cotton, it's the new term we're moving for Ascension, because Ascension is shoeless thing, and string is going to be the base of all weavers, because you need a string to weave.
Because for stuff like, for example, Chaos Weaver, it would make sense to have the jump, but if you have to do a full jump, if you have to catch it at or above single jump height, it makes things like Earth Weaver incredibly difficult because you have to time it at a very, you have to catch it at a very specific time.
Okay.
I
Yoshi,
I
could you write that
personally
proposal down?
I have a disagreement with that because I think that right now Earthweaver is one of the easiest weavers, so
the height requirement at least gives it some challenge rather than like just
I mean, yes,
move
but
under the
that
thing and then jump and flick. So
what his current argument is for us to go between each waiver and decide what jump height it should be, rather than just relying on a flat 80%.
I also disagree with that. That just adds way too much confusion. That is
That's fair.
unnecessary, and
That's fair.
just will make everything very convoluted. And I think people will complain a lot about inconsistent Weaver rules if that is the case. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I just disagree with that perspective.
Sneak, is your request to speak a new proposal, or is it a response to this proposal? Okay. Dave Seeker, do you have any response to Debatably's arguments? Or no?
Not really.
Okay. Alright. I'm gonna move on to Sneak's proposal, and then we can go over a full review of proposals of this
Okay.
after.
So my proposal is a sort of different levels of prestige based on your jump height. So like, okay, sorry, I have trouble communicating things, but
I understand the idea, but continue.
like the basic string would be like the current 80% jump height, and then like you get like level 2 or something, and that's like something higher. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I follow.
That's basically my idea. So different like levels, and that can be like a prefix, suffix, just a little add-on to the move.
Okay. Deterleon, is yours a response to this? An addition. Alright.
Basically, so some weavers require an ascension that violates a rule, mainly the one that you should go for the attack immediately, no flying around. So if we're gonna differentiate strings by height, we should also differentiate them by did you fly around or did you immediately go in for the kid?
Interesting.
So like not like one where you have to go for the hit immediately, and the one when you can fly around waiting for a second queue for apotheosis.
So generally what I'm hearing is, rather than make adjustments to the rules, we could just categorize with additional tags we add on to the move. Such as,
Yeah.
rather than just calling it an ascension, call it a flowless ascension when it doesn't require flow. Those kind of categories that we just staple on instead of calling it something new.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
I think debatably kind of does raise a good point in chat here. It is a little bit convoluted.
Yeah,
but I feel like it could also just be left off. Like if you don't want to do it.
That's. I think the main thing is this will allow us to, when we're talking about it, we can talk about it more specifically without it really affecting the challenges themselves.
Yeah.
And also, we only really need about 4 to 6 total variants of strings. What?
Yeah.
Let's.
For this kernel.
I don't think we need more than 3 for types of height, and probably another suffix that would go to differentiate between immediately for the hit and waiter bout, which wouldn't be very hard for me.
Okay, whatever you say, Cotton. Sorry.
Cotton, you're scaring me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we are all pretty much on a consensus. I'm going to move you both back to the audience unless you have a final word to say.
That's fine.
I think that we're all decently in agreement on not changing back to the previous rules. So first, so next, nope, wrong chat. There we go. We will establish a context of debatably. Are you going to be making a mod for this? Is that how we should be making the rules for Strix? Or should we make it based on visuals?
I think we could probably make a mod. Like I'm making good progress right now actually. I have a structure
Yippee.
ownership mod that I want to actually propose as the main system for structure ownership going forward. It's mostly working. So I'm making progress in the mod. So I hope we can make it with mods in mind. However, I also do think it should be like it shouldn't be impossible to detect with visuals.
Mhm.
Like the changes of something, because that would just make it feel very arbitrary if we can't like tell pretty easily. But I also think that it
Okay.
should be reasonably easy to detect with a mod, and not with not have non-rigorous rules. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay. So then for general context, understand that we can't do precise things such as single jump height being exactly 2.6412 or whatever it is. But for the rules, okay, debatably, you've made this very difficult on me. I was expecting a yes or no, not a maybe so. I feel like we should have the entire recording sub. This is going to be a mess. So, the establishment of context here is that we will have a primary rule set which should be visually detectable, but would be much more easily detectable by a mod. For example, and this is just a suggestion. Sorry, this is just an example, not a suggestion. Debatably, I'm moving you back on to get up back here. You want it to be possibly detect via mod. For
Possible,
example,
but
for more
rigorous.
specific things, if I wanted to say have it be exactly one jump height, right?
Yeah.
For catch. Do you say we should avoid rules going towards more specific sections and should lean towards leniency because we
I
don't have a mod to guarantee that accuracy?
I think that generally like like we can't assume that everybody's gonna download the mod, right? So
Yeah.
we should just have a way to like generally tell. So yeah, I think leniency is generally a good idea, especially
Okay.
since client side on the mod seems to be kind of annoying to detect. So I'm having some issues with client. So we
Okay.
might run into some issues later down the line where the mod cannot properly detect stuff on client. So that's why I also think that generally
Rules should be
we should
measurable yet
probably
lenient.
be able to visually tell, and not
That's
just
the
leave it
context
up
then.
to exact values. So yeah,
Alright.
that's my reasoning.
Alright, Yoshi, Yoshi, you get up here. Or what do you have to say?
Okay, I might just be speaking what Debatably just said, but I don't think that a mod should be the defining factor for FTFA. String rules. There we go. I don't think that string rules should specifically need to be moddable, per se. Okay, yeah. No, I don't think that they... I think that... Well, I think that they could be. Like, I don't think we should be thinking about having the string rules be built around being moddable.
So you think that there should be some that there should be an allowance for requirements that are not measurable by debatably spawn, which I definitely okay. I was about to say I definitely agree, but I'm not supposed to have an opinion here. But all right. Yeah. Okay. So that's the establishment of the context. Rules should be lenient yet ideally measurable, although that is not absolute. I'm trying not to be. Okay. Zeterleon, what do you have to yell at me?
Okay, about leniency, I have a point about Godfall Ascension rules, more specifically client. Because on the client, it basically allowed for catching the structure on the ground, because it was
Yes.
based off when the client sees the flick, which from their perspective would normally be when they were already at 80% jump height.
Mm-hmm.
So about that, should we should we prioritize the client perspective over the host perspective for streams?
I'm hoping Yoshi is writing a question right now because I see the poor Yoshi is typing a message, and I'm just like praying that he's like making a poll or something. And he stopped typing now, so all hope is lost. God is dead, and I killed Shulis.
Huge role, huge lore.
Huge lore. Shulis, Shulis, no! Okay. It seems like there's some minor disagreements. Does anyone want to speak up as to why they believe the Terleon is wrong and bad and evil?
For context, I'm on the side of prioritizing a client POV, but I find
okay.
it, but like I'm way closer to 50-50.
Great. Well, I'm gonna say some opinions then, because nobody is, and I'm supposed to be the voice of people who aren't here or something. No, that is
No, bad.
yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna delete his message for lying. Bye.
Yeah, no, it is. Terleon is noticing an issue where you can catch the structure on the ground, but still thinks that we should prefer client POV.
It's a bit hard to like. I don't think you
think
should
we
be able to
should.
catch a structure off the ground.
I think we should implement some additional requirements for client ascensions due to Ping making the visuals more unclear.
Probably yes.
My proposal, moderator proposal number 1. That's right, I'm writing it. Client should have a structure height requirement or some additional form to make sure the ascension, that's the string, adheres to general requirements on hosts. Oh god. I actually did try and search for a clip of somebody doing a FGFA on a cube strapper because I know I have it somewhere, but like I couldn't find it. Yeah, Yoshi. I think most people agree. Snake really agrees. Damn Seeker thinks that it's a sandwich. um, I put my proposal up in the chat. Yoshi, keep that in mind. On to the next section, which is now that we've established context. Oh, we already skipped a proposal of a version of rules. We're so ahead of schedule. Oh my god. Proposal of addition of rules that are used now but aren't in any official rule listings. I have a note for this. There we go. Got the note. So here's the list of rules that are unwritten yet still used. If anyone thinks that these rules, any of these unwritten rules, should be added to the official string rules, please come up and speak, because these are all edge case to select rule situations that these don't fit. And while you do that, I'm gonna try and find the clip that
Holy shit! Holy.
That's that one. You're the other one. Okay. You're that one. I don't care.
Real.
Oh. Still that one. I don't care.
Damn it. You got it.
Oh my god.
What?
Holy shit!
What?
Hit.
There it is. Found it. This is the one for the metal clip. Great. Cool. Why was I in there? No, but what do you mean? You're one of the bus. Unless you meant the clips I was looking at.
Hit.
Ow.
Ow. Okay.
I have a few concerns about the second one. Because how would we distinguish between you predicting where the opponent would be and them just running into it?
Okay, 1 second. I need to. This is why I'm supposed to have these clips ready, and I did have these clips ready, and yet I still managed to fail to have these clips ready. What was it called? It was a Godweaver related clip where I did an airstrike. Godweaver airstrike. Hopefully those. Nope. Okay. Maybe my control key will actually work. Goddamn. Going for Godweaver. What do you mean scuffed? There's nothing scuffed about this. This was a from Shula's message. That's why we're going through Shula's message history right now. Why did this one not count? Oh, it's another one of my clips. Ah, of course. Shula's is a hater, bro. I can't find it. It's not real then. Alright, never mind. I'm sorry, I had a clip perfectly for what you were describing there. The second rule specifically exists because of a clip where I overshot Yoshi, airstriked, missed the airstrike, but Yoshi dash jumped into the airstrike trying to go for Godweaver. That is specifically what the second rule is referring to. I tried to do better clips. Come on, man. It wouldn't have hit if I didn't airstrike at all. Is exactly what I argued, Sneak, and I would be very happy if it counted personally. But one means, for example, oh my god, Space God Weaver. I wanted Space God Weaver. It's gonna be somewhere. I promise. It's somewhere. It's real. It's real. It's real. It's real. It's real. It's real. Okay.
Catch! Stasis!
That's Stasis Weaver. I don't care. Where's my Space God Weaver? There's only 5 mentions of Space God. How are none of them relating to it? I didn't hit Space God Weaver, so on the day of during 10 slash what is the 10th month? It's like October 28 Weaver. I give up. I thought it would be so much easier to find. And Yoshi found it before me. Okay, so for example, that is what the clip is talking about there, right? I straight the cube, but my mobility is not at all relevant there.
Wait, which clip are you referring to?
Additionally, sorry, what were you saying, Jotaro?
Which clip are you referring to?
Oh god, debatably just come up here. I'm falling apart at the seams.
Yo, I have another proposal. Instead of dealing with movement unnecessary for the hit, which seems a bit arbitrary, and I can explain why I dislike arbitrary or like undetectable rules later. What about just a timer? In which case, you have to use the mobility like a certain amount of time before a hit, because realistically, if you do your mobility right before your hit, it's not necessary for the hit, right? So, like you can kind of
Okay.
assume that that's the case. So I like a short timer between your mobility and when you have to hit. I think would make more sense. And the reason I dislike these feeling-based rules, I can go over it real quick because I really want to refute Yoshi's thing here. Is if it can be detectable by a mod, it means it's it's a rigorous rule, which means it's not arbitrary. Arbitrary rules lead to complaints. Or I guess it could be. I guess it's arbitrary. Wrong word. Sorry. It's like not. It doesn't require arbitrary like detection, and so this like removes the human bias element, which can make it feel more consistent
Arbitrary.
and less like inconsistent, leading to less complaints and generally, yeah, better. So yeah, that's why I generally don't like non-rigorous rules, because it just seems unnecessary. So I think the rules should be detectable by something, or like if you go through the footage, there should be like an easy way to tell. That's also why I'm against swing rules and stuff like that on the ground. But whatever, that's for later, I guess. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to
That's
say.
why we just have a straight up timer.
Yeah, we
We
should have
gave you a
timers.
timer for a reason.
Yeah, I am on the side of timers. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So going back to the should we add the following unwritten rules? Also, if anyone has any other unwritten rules, please come up here and talk about it, because I totally could have
Oh.
forgotten.
Also, is there an option of adding rules that are basically I agree with the idea of the rules, but we probably should change the wording to make them more rigorous.
Yeah, no. I want you to understand the note of these unwritten rules. Sorry, I wrote at like. Well, we could check actually. Yeah, I wrote them at 10 p.m. right before I went to like die. So I'm fully okay with rewriting these rules. Just the general concept behind said rules. If you disagree with them or think we're missing an unwritten rule, please speak up now. No one seems to be speaking up. All right. Does anyone have any disagreement with the unwritten rules that we have listed? 1, 2, or 3? Yes, there are many edge cases we are missing that we will have to eventually account for.
If we can make rules too rigorous, then I'm on board with it.
Yes. All right. Great. On to the final part. The part everyone has been waiting for. Yes. Proposal of clarity of rules / change of rules. This is your guys' section. This is where you would talk about how do we make the double jump rule allow for flowless ascensions. This is you guys. Go at it like rabid dogs. What is the shoeless mod hotfix? Oh, Dotera.
Okay, so we partially already allowed flawless ascensions if we go through with Sneak's proposal. So about discerning strings by necessary height.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to propose a collection of rules all at once. First of all, for all strings, the height at which you are when you flick does not matter. Only the structure height matters. Makes it more consistent with client, and also it's universally 80% of jump height. Alright, maybe tweak a little bit up or down depending. So, universally, for all strings, you have to catch the structure at least 80 jump height. Then, there is the requirement for to discern between levels of strings, to discern between there is a requirement of your peak, which height you should reach. So, for example, let's say the lowest level string, there is no requirement for your peak height at all. That would allow for flawless ascensions, because you can just with the dash jump catch the structure and immediately go in for the opponent.
Yoshi, could you send your funny time-stamped clip in here to ask if that should count as an ascension? A string to these people? Or do I have to do that? I have to do that. Oh my god. Why does Control V not work today? Oh, he did it.
So in total,
So, looking at this current clip, I love being a streamer. Under your current rules, that is a high enough catch, right? The structure is above, is at 80% jump height.
first
It's
is a
above the
clip.
wall
Can I
security.
first see the clip? Oh, I know this clip.
And then he bumps, and then he hits them. Do you think this should count as a string?
I've seen like 5 frames. Okay. Oh wait, here it is. 1 second. That. Let me watch it. Okay, so boom. Yes. If assuming that uh space weaver assuming that weaver of space allows or like doesn't have any peak jump requirements.
Okay. For example, here's another clip that would count under Deterleon's rulings. Don't worry, you can let me send this one. It is an argument for you. This is Orion's attempt at Weaver of Space that was considered too low. Because he didn't double jump and he didn't reach a double jump height.
Yeah, so this is where Sneak's proposal comes in, because the people who make the weavers can decide with the categories of strings which one should be the one that is used. So this would be weaver space if weaver space allowed, let's call them for now grounded strings.
Okay.
But
that is the
it could,
Deterleon's proposal.
But it would instead require, for example, double jump height or something.
Yes, no, but that is the entire discussion. We are discussing changing that rule.
I'm saying that with the rules we have currently given, with the policy of Sneak and a slight change and the remove and okay, I'm saying that with the proposal from Sneak, with the proposal to require catch jump, with the proposal to require to base the height requirement off of the structure, we already solved this.
Sorry, I'm struggling. There we go. All right. Everyone, I did remove your reactions on Deterleon's proposal. If you have, if there's an X, if you dislike both proposals. I think. Also. Yeah. Okay. Does anyone have any counter arguments or things they'd like to say so that the Terra can respond and expand further upon their points? Oh, Debatably is raising his hand. Get ready to get shouted at.
Oh no, I don't mean to shout at anybody. No, I just think that the base string should be what it was previously, like what an Ascension 8 rec was. That's just my one thing. Otherwise, I also think they should be consistent between weavers. But yeah, that's the reason. Again, because convoluted and because I don't think we should confuse flick reversals and like challenges, because a flick reversal is just kind of like a more common thing than like a challenge. I don't know. Anyway, that's just my reasoning why I disagree.
Okay. Deterlion, do you have a response to that?
Mainly because it wouldn't be convoluted because we just distinguish a few types of a string, and then the viewers can decide which types they use. And I forgot the second point.
Mm. It is
it's,
so
it's
freeing not caring about this stuff. Yeah, I like this guy. Everyone fire react him. Sorry, continue.
yeah. Can we get a proposal that for strings there is can we get an additional addition called the Second Amendment for Sneak's proposal, where the differentiating factor one of the main differentiating factors between strings is that it is the peak height, and for all
Depending on
strings,
the, can you just make it depending on the peak height?
Uh,
String, do you disagree? Sorry, String. Sneak, do you disagree with
Wait.
that clarification?
no, I'm making a second edition,
Oh,
and
you
I'm
can
not messing
second
directly.
Okay.
Uh,
Continue as is.
we differentiate between the string stages and levels on wait. Oh wait, it's already in the Sneak's proposal. Partially.
Nice. The flick is a string. Rah! Sorry.
Yeah. The idea is just
Yeah, I think everyone's understanding of your proposal.
yeah, it's just 3 a.m. I am yeah.
Wait, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't understand why Yoshi hosted this at 5 p.m. and like on a Friday. But you know, even
Have to
he
wake up.
almost didn't make it.
Alright. I'm gonna go down. I have nothing more to
Appreciate it.
say.
Does anyone else have any proposals? If not, I can do my preset proposals. Well, I'm saying it now, so how about that? And to be fair, I thought it was a smart idea. Dapseeker, hello! How are you doing today? You're a great person. Hello? He's just mic breaking there ominously. uh,
I hate this microphone. Okay, hi. I'm just gonna throw this out there. I think that an air sling shouldn't count for a string. I think it should require a bump or a mount.
requires specifically a bumper mount or specifically discount air sling?
Specifically discount air sling. Or other things of that sort that don't require the structure to. Because I
And
think
why?
air slings are too easy. You don't need to use the structure and use the like flick skill, because in my opinion an air sling is you just turn around and do a single pose.
So your entire basis here, and this isn't meant to be derogatory, is that it would be too air slings are too easy compared to the difficulty and flick mastery that a bump and mount would showcase.
Sorry, what was that?
Well, the Terraleon's coming to counter argument, so.
I'm not counter argument. I'm pro argument.
Oh,
Uh,
pro argument.
Air slings make like ascensions stupidly easy. They don't require as much skill to actually bump, and make client ascensions not very exciting unless you actually do a bump. Basically, between the there is already some prejudice against air slings because people, from what I've seen, people already see them as less impressive. But also, so they don't really feel like you've mastered flick.
Yes.
Wait.
What I'm saying is that it should show that you have, because an air sling is just a straight in the air. But what I'm saying is that a string should require to show that you have practiced flick, that you have mastered flick.
Yeah, kind of. I agree.
And Dizzy, what I'm not saying is if you do an air sling, it doesn't count. What I'm saying is air slings don't matter for the judgment on whether it counts or not.
Yeah, same. Because you can do interesting ascensions with air sling, because you can, if you don't have enough momentum to just bump, you can air sling and go into a bump then.
Yes.
So I'm now going to bring Yoshi up to the stand.
This is sort of reiterating a point that was already brought up, but I really want to put emphasis on this point. Shoeless, when making ascensions, the idea was that you would use your flick mastery to guide yourself to the opponent, and air slings doing a straight is not flick. It's just not. It's a completely different pose, and it does not show any flick mastery at all. But that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Air slings can be impressive. It's just that no one really uses them impressively.
Alright.
Air slings are impressive when combined with other mobility.
Dizzy, you now get to speak. Yippee!
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello!
Okay. I have a different perspective because I do weird stuff all the time. I don't know in terms of the mobility, but I know the air sling itself is very useful. So the ability to use charge on an air sling opens up a lot of opportunities, and my main sort of thing is, sure, for maybe X weavers, but what about weavers of? So my main thing is like Weaver of Water is one that benefits a lot from being able to air sling.
You'd
You
still
can
be able to air sling. You just
yeah, but
also
you won't,
need
you
to
won't
do
be
it
able to gain the mobility afterwards.
Okay.
So it's like if you catch something and air sling, like that counts for the mobility and the string, you know. You would then be able to like pull in a structure or something in the air and use that for, well, water bending, which I also think that a big problem is from people dodging attacks too easily by just jumping between you. If you bump, it's a lot harder to catch them than it is to turn around air sling and catch them out the air. So often you end up just completely missing because you didn't air sling, basically, I think. Does that make sense?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Maybe other people made sense of that, but I
Hang on.
personally didn't. If people,
I
if
think-
people
What's the situation again? What is the situation again? They should
So,
describe it.
if you're I think that the option to be able to use an air sling to catch someone rather than having to bump is a very good thing, especially with a synergy of charge.
Okay, so like, what does charge do?
Well, it extends your air sling.
It
Is
sends
it
the structure
useful?
farther, so it's easier to catch them.
Yeah,
when they're
you can
trying to
catch a
jump
lot
past
further
you.
from. So
So,
I do it all
which
the
is
time where like they
what-
do this jump or dash jump through my attack, and I just turn around air sling catch them. it's a really good punish. But if you're doing a bump, you can't really redirect like that, because it's not about the mobility; it's about the structure hitting them, and
Well,
that's sort of where my thing comes in.
You can
The
still
thing that-
use air, is what they're
Yeah,
saying.
but
You just
you
also
don't
have to
always
bump
have
slash
the
mount on
space
your
to use
on
a
your string.
bump before the air sling.
And I think
Yeah,
if
yeah, I
you're at the point where you haven't done any mobility and you're already like descending to catch them, then I think at that point it's already too late for the mobility.
If
I
they
think specifically the situation you're talking about, to be correct, is Weaver of Water, where you mount or
Mm,
bump off
yeah,
of
that's
your FGFA string, whatever, and then you air sling it to try and allow it to catch another structure for it to bring said
that's an
structure
option, yeah.
and count from Weaver of
I
Water.
don't know how
correct?
many weavers it would be potentially useful for, but I feel like the ability, even in
The ability
X
to
weavers,
air
is
sling
very
would
useful.
remain. Air sling itself would not count for the
So
mobility
the
mastery
reason,
part.
I think so.
Okay.
Yes, I see what you mean by you should be able to bump by that point, but I don't know if I agree because people are very fast to just jump the second they see you go for an aerial. And I think that air slings are a really nice counter that this would kind of be taking away from a good sort of direction for Flick, I think. It's just making it weaker for no reason, in my opinion. Sorry, I
Wait,
think I had
what would-
something else. I don't know.
I'm so glad my stream is irrelevant. Okay. Interesting.
Also, you can dodge things with an air sling, like, very well.
Or how about
I mean,
Wait, did
for
you understand what my
dodge
point
to
was,
be
by the way?
significant, you already you will most likely have to bump.
Not always,
Or
because
have
the air sling's quicker than a bump. Because if you're bumping in one direction, you have to change direction, but the air sling, you can just
Okay,
pop it out.
Cotton, we aren't going to just do a section for every kind of separate thing. No, I'm not allowing it.
My main thing is people are way too quick to just try to disc jump away because they're scared of getting hurt. So an air sling keeps that option while also still fulfilling the string requirements because you can't always bump before they try to disc jump. You know what I mean? Because normally you'll bump and then you'll have to like slam down or something, but it's just a lot tighter than if you air sling, I think.
the thing is, air sling is like extremely safe.
Okay.
There is no challenge in air slinging.
Well, there is because like you still gotta land it. if so, what's like if you hit them with just a normal ass air sling, like you just catch it, air sling, and then hit them, that's like on them, I guess. I don't know, but they should be able to dodge that. The air sling should be used on things like catching them out of like them trying to evade, things like using it for a quick redirect like a dodge. That's different from a bump. Potentially things like tidal pull, I think is a really cool application of it, and stuff like that.
If you're using air sling to actually hit them, not like
Yeah.
move in the position to hit them, but actually with the
You can
flail.
dodge with an air sling too.
But then it's not getting used for mobility, so I don't see how that part is
Dodge
relevant.
is the mobility. The dodge is like very
No,
useful.
no, not the dodge, not the dodge.
Okay,
First,
so like
for the dodge, about catching people as they try to disc jump away.
why does it need mobility then? Like, what is the reason for mobility? Is there like a reason for mobility, or is it just because?
Because I think if you just caught an object and then didn't do anything with it, it wouldn't really be a challenge.
Yeah, I think so too, but I think the air sling is doing something with it.
I am an arbitrary
So,
moderator
okay, wait,
that
hang on.
totally
If-
doesn't fully
if
agree with you.
you-
I don't know
I
what you're talking
think-
about.
I think if you use an air sling to catch someone trying to dodge, you like your mobility doesn't matter at that point because they're already gone, if that makes sense. Like they've committed to an action, so you cancel your commitment to like bumping by using an air sling instead. I feel like mobility is necessary for a lot of the time, but if they've chose to like disc jump away or something, I think that your mobility doesn't necessarily matter if you can go for the hit instead. So if you do like if you go for a bump or something, but then quickly airstrike instead, I guess. I don't know. I think my main thing is like would be questioning mobility a little bit in certain situations. I don't know. I'm not very good at making points.
I just think that gaining mobility is such an integral part of Water Strings based on Full Ascension that making it optional would go against the spirit of the challenge.
Has everyone here said their points?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
Great.
I don't know how optional it would be though.
Can
I'm
I move you all
thinking
to
what's-
audience?
Huh? What are we doing?
Not if I do it first.
Oh,
Okay.
he's gone. Taylor, can I move you to audience? Oh, I can't do it. Can I move you to audience,
I
Dizzy?
guess so.
Yippee! I get to do something! Okay. Cotton has requested to speak. Cotton, give your proposal.
Okay, so for ownership hierarchy, I think a flicked structure is definitely owned by the person flicking it. And then if it's not flicked, then if it's held, whoever's holding it owns that. So if someone has a flicked cube and someone else is holding that cube, it's still owned by the flick player. And then
Okay.
under all that is the last modified, or whoever would proc surge.
Okay. Deterleon, do you have a new proposal, or is this a...
I have a question about Cotton's firstly. Okay, so if there is a flick and hold on the both structure, the ownership goes to the player with the flick.
Yes.
What if first the structure was held for hold flick of Full Ascension? And then
If it's held and then someone flicks it.
yeah, and then just someone flicks it.
Yeah.
I think for that it's better to just go whichever one was first between flick or hold.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Debatable, you can come up.
Forest, I guess.
All right, so I'm really passionate about defining ownership properly. Okay, so I've been thinking about this for a while, and here's what I think. Okay, so when a structure stops moving, it has to be moved to a sort of neutral state of ownership. So I think there would be 3 ownership states, right? Neutral, player owned, and opponent owned. So the neutral state of ownership would be structures that are standing still, right? So there is okay. First of all, let me explain why like the adamant and surge and stuff isn't accurate for detecting what ownership is. So in the
talk about
case of adamant and surge, if somebody were to strupper a cube, it were to stop somewhere on the battlefield, and it's just there. That is still their structure technically, and you can cube launch it without changing the in-game ownership, and then jump, flick, and then bump, and that would be an ascension if you used the surge definition for who is owning the structure. So that's why that definition fails. So what I think is you need a third state, which is neither player owned. This comes into effect when a structure has been standing still for a significant period of time, like maybe 10 frames, right? And it also isn't in a hit stop, right? So that's when you would have that. Also, another case where surge doesn't work is somebody parries right before it hits them. That also doesn't work surge. So you would have to also not allow modifiers to change the ownership after a hit effect has already taken place, or maybe during hit stop. Not sure on that yet. And cube launches should also change ownership if the structure is not already owned, because if it is owned, that means it's moving by some other player who has launched it. which means that it's really just changing the momentum rather than owning yourself. So all this to say,
Elite Earthweaver.
I made a mod that does this. It is pretty consistent. I just haven't implemented hold and flick logic yet, but here's my opinion for hold and flick logic. I just want to explain this. Pretty much,
It's gonna
if
be Colin's proposal.
hold and
Sure.
flick are owned by two different people on a structure, that structure should be neutral. It should not be either player's structure. It doesn't matter if it's left hold, right hold, or like any combination of that. If you have left hold and flick and they only have right hold, it doesn't matter. That's still a neutral structure. Anyway, that's my position on how that ownership should work. But anyway, ownership is very complicated. And I've been trying to figure out a good definition for ages, and I think I have one, and I have a mod mostly done. I just have to finish holds logic because of left and right hold being annoying. But anyway, yeah,
Kind of
that's
all-
my proposal for ownership. So
I think this is like the equivalent of like some amateurs talking about a topic, and then a medicinal doctor who's done years of work and like with patients and everything is just like, here's how I think it works.
May I propose the fourth state? Both of them, both players own it. Actually, wait, why does structure ownership matter?
Yeah, no.
It's
Can you
used
get
for
back to me on
definitions.
that? Why does structural ownership matter?
Because if you really think about what is in the definition of a string, structure ownership is a major part, right? Think about it. Like you have to do a string on an opponent's structure. If it's not their structure, then you're just doing it on a non-existent structure. Like it's not something that they sent. So it matters because it depends what you can do a string or ascension on. So that's why we have to have a rigid foundation of what ownership is. Also, you could technically expand the definition to makeshifts, but I don't think my definition properly works with makeshifts, so I'll have to work on that later, maybe. But I think makeshifts use a different definition for ownership, so I don't know how that's gonna work. But either way, it's a very confusing topic. Yoshi, I have a mod. Yoshi has something in chat. I have a mod. I can send the logic of the mod later, but it's pretty long. It's a lot of cases. Anyway, yeah.
I propose a competing definition of the owner of the structure is the person who has, first of all, the structure doesn't move, then it's neither players, but basically, the owner of the structure is the one who has the most influence over its velocity.
I don't like that because then you could theoretically ascend on a structure that you've already flicked. Because if somebody held left and right hold on a structure and you had flick on it, and then you jumped and caught that structure, reflicked it, all right, and then hit them with that structure, then like unheld it and reflicked it and hit them with that structure, that would be an ascension, which I don't think would be how we would define it. So I think if either player has some control over it, I think that just cancels it. Like if both players have control over it, I think it should be neither player's structure. It doesn't make sense to me that you can like.
I think flick has more emphasis than hold, and I think I agree with Cotton's original definition of flick over hold over anything else over nothing.
Okay, but then you run into this problem then, right? Say the opponent flicks a structure, okay, and you have hold on that structure, and then you double jump, and then you reflick the structure. So now it's your structure, even though you had hold on it before. But
okay,
now that would be an ascension. So now I don't think that would count. Like that's the issue. Like that's why
no,
I think
okay, if you can do that, show me it being done, because you can't do that.
Okay. Say two holds. You have two holds on a structure, right? It should be pretty close to you. If they're not too far from you, like say your opponent's quite close to you, you should be able to dash jump, flick it, steal the flick, and then hit them. And I don't think that's an ascension if you were to do that. Like that would be something different. It would be super cool, but I just don't think that would be a string. So that's why I think if either player has control, I think it's neither. Like if both players have control, neither player.
So question. So if let's say one person is doing control flight, and the other person steals steals the mount and breaks the hold. And then gains momentum and gains aerial velocity from the structure and hits them. Should that count for ascension?
If you so they have control slight, you steal the mount, and then the hold breaks. That wouldn't be an ascension because you stole a neutral structure. Or actually, no. Yeah, no. So it went from opponent owned, and then it would go to flicked. But then, because
Yeah, but
they
they would
have a
still
hold
have
on
the
it,
hold
it would be a
when you
neutral
flick.
structure. So it wouldn't be your structure. So that wouldn't be an ascension. No.
Do we think that
Right.
should not be an ascension?
I don't think it should be.
Okay, then what is the fundamental difference between this and just stealing their structure from a flick flight?
Because then they don't have control over it after your steal. That's my main thing. I think that they should have, like, after a steal, you have to have full control over it, right? Because it's now your structure. But if they have some other form of control over the structure, then it's neither player's structure, and then it wouldn't be an ascension. That's what I think makes the most sense because of the edge cases I presented of people having holds on the structure and whatever. I think from what we understand, it's most aligned.
Okay. So should explode change the ownership?
I don't think so, because we just haven't like done that any way, shape, or form in the past, right? Maybe if it's a stationary structure, but then that's too hard to detect with a mod, and we generally don't really talk about that case enough that I think it doesn't really matter if explode doesn't really change ownership. Because also,
I think.
Hmm?
Wait, no. Wait, which one is 7th point and which one is Chaos Weaver? I'm talking about the one that you hit a structure into an explosive structure.
What? Oh, you hit a structure into an explosive structure? That's still your structure. Like, the whole point is you're using your own structure to do that. So it would still be your structure under this ownership definition, which I think makes sense.
I think that
That's like the whole point of the meeting. True. Sorry.
I think that because I think explode unless it's disc.
Explode. I don't think so, because Chaos Weaver doesn't change ownership. That's the issue. So Chaos Weaver
Okay, but
has a
Earthweaver
moving
does, and you
structure.
still supposed to change Earthweaver to not exist.
No, Earthweaver doesn't if it's a moving structure, because I
Okay.
also think it shouldn't exist. People complained. I'm willing to remove Earthweaver's existence, but then people complain. But I think that explosions shouldn't change ownership. Like it doesn't. Like waterbending shouldn't change ownership. Because
I
it's
think
not
with
direct influence.
what do you do about corner flips and edge flips?
About
Like
what?
corner launches. What do you do about structure launches?
Oh, structure launches. So if a structure is not owned by either player and it's structure launched, it will be given to the player whose structure launched the structure. Like,
Okay.
so if you structure launch a structure that isn't owned by either player, that's now your structure. So yeah, I have that
Yes.
working a lot.
Yeah, because that's quite a big thing. Explode can also do the same in terms of like you can launch anti-airs by using a resting structure on top of a wall, for example.
Yeah.
and
I
then-
thought about that case too, and it's just too hard to detect, and it's like it almost never comes up. So I just think that should be a neutral structure, and it's very sad.
Does it need to be detected though for it to count? Because it can just be like an outlier that doesn't get detected but still counts.
Yeah, sure, that's
Because
fair.
you're 100% in control of it in that case, and like it can be aimed.
Maybe, but also the issue with stuff like that is what if you have a structure and then two structures, one from the opponent and the other player collide? Or what if it's like a neutral? I guess you could. No, I guess you can make that neutral. No, I guess that does work. Yeah.
Also, I
Okay,
think things
fair.
like dead stops can get weird.
No.
I don't know. There's a lot of ways of indirectly affecting structures, which I use quite a bit.
Yeah,
So
I think
yeah.
those shouldn't change ownership other
Crossbows,
than
for example,
structure launches.
crossbows, you can like very easily crossbow something decently far without technically touching it, which is really
Yeah, and
annoying
I
for Surge and Vigor. But like, that's one example of like where you wouldn't change possession. I don't think, just for I don't know.
yeah, I
Structure
don't
launches is very important though. I'm glad that's actually
yeah, I think structure launches is the main one. But those are some edge cases that I think they shouldn't change the ownership because you're kind of redirecting the structure still. Uh if it's I guess if it's a neutral structure, you might want to change the ownership. But I don't know if you can detect that. So yeah. Uh no, maybe. Maybe I could. I'll try. I'll see if I can get it working. If not, then
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's all I wanted to say because I use
Yeah.
weird ways of moving things a lot.
Yeah, let's see.
Alright, thank you
Those are
all.
good points. I'll think about those. I'll see if I can get those working.
Wait 1 second. Debatably,
Hmm.
I missed a few things, but what is your did you change your stance on explode not counting?
I don't know. I think explode shouldn't change ownership.
Okay,
Still,
my
unless it's a neutral
proposal
structure,
is that-
in which case I guess it could. But I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
kind of undecided on that. But if
I
it's
kind
an
of
opponent's
agree
structure,
with that, honestly. I think
or
flick I think explode should be change ownership on whoever provides the largest momentum changing part for the most rules is how I would personally describe ownership.
Okay,
But that is
and
for the most part.
I don't think
And-
so. Because,
Railguns.
because then you could
Okay.
explode something off an opponent's structure and then like get it, but that's not an ascension. That's just 7th point because it's technically your own structure. So I don't think in that case, explode is
Oh, yeah,
changing the
sure.
ownership. So I think explode only changes ownership on neutral structures, and that's just such an edge case that's very difficult to detect. So I don't think you even have to. Also,
okay, so
no, it's not whoever flick holds first. It's if either player has flick. If both people have flick and hold, it's neutral. If it's all owned by one player, then it's that player's anyway. Yeah.
okay, so I want to propose a system for how explode could count. Basically explode counts as any other regular modifier that isn't flick that belongs to the person whose structure exploded. And 7th point is just not an ascension.
Okay, but what do you do about Chaos Weaver case? Because then if you launch, that's your structure. And then that's no longer a string because it would be your structure. Right?
Wait, Chaos Weaver is you send an explosive structure?
Yeah. You send an explosive structure to launch the ascension structure up, right?
Oh god damn it. Why do we win that? Why do we consider the Weaver an ascension even?
I think it should be because you're just kind of influencing its trajectory and you're not really directly modifying it. Which is why I think in that case ownership's not transferred. So
Kills with math, is it relevant to this or is it anything? Just quick ask. Kills with Mask requested to speak and I couldn't be bothered to type a message. Okay. Kills
Alright.
with Math wants to say something.
I think if you launch an explode object into someone's object, it can count as neutral.
Wait, I couldn't hear you. You're really quiet. Give me a second. Let me raise your volume. What'd you say?
If you launch an explosion object into someone else's object, it should count as neutral, because both of you have done a modifier to that structure.
But that's even more
it's
inconsistent. Because say I RTS a structure, is that now neutral because I RTS'd it and we've both now done modifiers to it? That doesn't that's
well, no,
it's your
because
structure.
I think ownership should be range based and last pose based. Because
Okay.
if you threw a structure at me, then I held it, but it still hit me, that's yours because that was the last momentum. But if I RTS'd a structure, it hits
Actually,
you.
don't think this will happen.
I
technically.
don't agree
But
with that
that's another
because if
point.
I throw you structure and you hold it before it hits you and you make it hit yourself, that's like you just kind of blundered there. But for example, if it hit you first and then you applied a modifier to it, then I don't think ownership should be transferred because you didn't actually do anything to it. But when you held it, you did apply stuff to it and then you hit yourself with it. It's like, would you count like it's like if somebody were to dash into a cube and uppercut it, they hit themselves with their own structure, right? Like it's still their structure that they hit themselves with, right? So I think in that case, I don't think ownership is transferred. If I don't think ownership is transferred with an explode, unless maybe it's a neutral object again. But that's an edge case that rarely comes up, and I don't think it's too important to code in. But maybe we can detect that visually. So yeah.
Okay, so like,
Holy
how
shit,
we
holy
define
shit.
it either
Holy
silence point
Okay.
or Weaver of
Did
Chaos
clear
is
that?
not an essential. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think 7th point is an ascension.
Alright.
I just don't
Seventh
think
point
it
isn't
is.
an ascension, no.
Yeah, it's not. It's your own structure. That's the whole point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So point is it's your own structure because the explosive doesn't change the ownership. Anyway, that's my view on ownership. Sorry for the uh, very technical stuff, but I will hopefully get the mod out soon. I'm mostly done.
Just turn it into a paragraph so that Yoshi could turn it into a proposal. Otherwise, all of this will be pointless.
Yeah.
Okay. I will post a logic, probably a logic.
Otherwise, it will just be this message as the proposal. I replied to a message. Yeah, sure. I'll give the structure weight one. Does anyone else have anything to say? And keep it to a sentence or less. Any last words? Alright, cool. Die. You get to live, actually. So, I'm going to give a proposal. Oh, they don't get to live. Dizzy, if you wanna give a new proposal, go ahead. But the current thing that wants to be put up to a vote by quarters is: should we allow discs, balls, pillars, disc balls and pillars? Actually, that's the limit of structures that are not added. Currently, none of them count for the simple point of that they have too little risk. That is the exact reasoning that Shulis gave. They have too little risk and that they are way less situational. When you go up to catch a ball upper, it is not risky. And it is not situational. To tear it, Leon.
Oh, I have opinions on this. Okay. First of all, I think that this this goes hand in hand with one very important thing. This like goes hand in hand. Okay. First of all, pillar. Pillar is. I don't. Okay. First of all, let's go with the easy one. Pillar. Pillars are not that common in the air, and they're basically the same difficulty as any other ascension. So I don't really see any reason to exclude them. Except for that, you'll take not 3 but 2 damage if you miss it. Or it will deal 1 less damage, which I don't think is enough to warrant their exclusion.
Okay.
Second, yeah. Now, let's go with the one that I
Can
have.
we take a quick intermission for Dampseeker to say 1 to 2 sentences?
Okay.
Dampseeker, say your 1 to 2 sentences.
Okay, what I want to reiterate is that strings are not ascensions. They are specifically for Weaver rules. So
yes,
you're thinking about it in the sense of balls, pillars, discs, or discs for ascension, and not for like Weavers.
I'm saying that from
interpreting
the
that.
sense of rarity and difficulty, they're the same as any other structure, which doesn't make any sense, which doesn't give me any reason to exclude them. For pillars. For pillars.
A common statement within the chat is that Ball Weaver of Space would be very possible.
Assuming it does count, then I've hit Weaver of Space like 10 times, man.
Also, I think discs would be perfectly fine to count, though.
Let's first go on to pillars.
Yeah.
Because so any reason not to count pillars. They're not common in the air, they're still difficult. They're as difficult as
risky, quote unquote. That's the only reason they wouldn't, but
can you repeat that?
If you want to speak about this, Yoshi, if you want to speak it. Yoshi, get up here.
Okay, so basically, what I have to say is, I think that pillars should be allowed and discs and balls shouldn't, because discs and balls are significantly easier to put in the air than pillars, cubes, and walls and boulders.
Okay, but discs you can't bump on nearly as easily.
Okay, yeah, consider the fall, not ignore that. Consider the fall.
We're focusing on pillars right now. I've decided we are focusing on specifically pillars.
Okay, never mind then. I don't have anything to say.
Okay. Does anyone have anything to say on why we should or should not allow pillars?
I think yes, because they are big and weirdly shaped. And typically when someone sends a pillar, it's like the long end is like facing you, and so it'll be harder to time something like catch.
Okay. I don't think there's any real disagreements. Moving on. Allow discs. Do we want to allow discs for?
This is the hard one.
I think it depends, in my opinion. If we allow air slings, then no.
We are not allowing air slings according to the current vote, I think.
Okay.
I need to...
Then
if we do not allow air slings, then we should allow discs.
Yeah, because it would be
pure difficulty.
Yeah, if through pure difficulty, yeah.
So the current proposal is pillars, discs, if no air slings.
All right, and now
and what's the argument for balls? All right, let's have some fun here in chat. Here in the left corner, we have balls. Why should or should we not allow balls?
All right,
balls are too easy.
Balls.
God, everyone's requesting to speak. All right.
Yeah, can I go first because I mainly went for balls and pillars and discs.
Okay. You get until the turn of 40.
Okay. Basically, balls are extremely common in the air because ball uppercut is very common, which makes from one side them not really good for an ascension, not really the extraction that you can ascend on. But to get it's like a lot harder to get a good bump.
A good bump. But what about any bump?
Any bump, I don't think should count. Air slings, I don't think should count. But a good bump, also a bad, any bump will be disqualified by rule. Know that if your mobility clearly is irrelevant to the Fligot Full Ascension rule that we are reading from the world. So if it's just some insignificant bump, then it won't count. If it's a good bump, then it's actually very easy for it to slip out and for it to just miss you. So I think balls should count. Just because if we disallow air slings, and we agree that small bumps are irrelevant to your mobility.
The issue that I have with that is, once again, we should at least consider Debatably's mod, and what is a good enough bump is too vague, in my opinion.
All right,
That
I'm
is
gonna bring
also
Yoshi onto the stand. Dizzy, you're next.
If we allow balls, debatably hit a tapestry of gods. Anyway, that's all.
All right, I no longer care about this argument. Balls aren't allowed. Dizzy, what's your take?
Well, this was about discs when I put my hand up, but I feel like it does, like balls and pillars. I feel like they do little damage to make it like matter, because most of the time people are gonna be running things like Starman Adamant. That's -2 damage reduction. They basically negate the entire string, and I think that doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Debatably, what's your conversation?
Sorry, just again, we need to clearly define something. Can we define bump as just like a touch of the structure on a physics part? Because that would like force you to move. Like if you touch the structure in any way on a physics part of the player, that'll make you move. Can we define a bump like that? Because just for like just to get this over with, because we're getting issues with bump definitions.
Sure. Whatever.
All right. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Anyway.
Right. I'm kicking you out. Oh, I didn't even get to kick him out. Okay. So Dizzy's argument is that it does too little damage. Deterra's argument is that meh. What is your argument against Dizzy's counter argument?
Yeah.
My argument was that a good bump on the ball is so difficult that
But we only require any bump, not a good bump, and asking for
if
a
we
good
require
bump
any
would
bump, then
require-
balls should not be allowed. If we
Yeah,
require
yeah.
any bump, then balls should not be allowed.
If you're mounted, a ball's really easy to bump with.
Something that I also want to say is if we're including pillar and ball or pillar and disc, then it would be really weird to just not include ball and ball only.
No,
Yeah,
it's
but I
fine
don't
to
like
not include
balls.
chip. Like pillar is
Yeah,
a middle ground structure. What's the other two are chip?
I think I actually agree with Jackie Chan 99's argument. Disc feels like a show off and not an ascension.
I got something to say about discs.
You just talk about discs.
Yeah, I don't think there's any weavers you can do on a disc. Like, if you actually think about it, maybe weaver space theoretically, but can you actually get a bump from a disc?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because you can use guard. You can use guard. 1 second. I'll show
why
you.
is guard allowed but not S-Wings?
Guard isn't allowed, I think.
No. Guard.
Also,
guard
yeah, you can
is
bump
not-
on them. You can
I'll
bump
show
on
you.
them. Wait, hang on. If bumping on a disc is allowed,
Guarding gives you
No.
knockback,
The
which
guard
allows
is
it
not
to
the
be very
momentum.
easy to bump on discs.
yeah,
Guard
I
allows
know how you
to
bump on
move.
discs. I've bumped on them loads. I'm saying I feel like the mobility you get from bumping on a disc is worse than an air sling. Like the majority of the time, unless you use that one guard wind burst tech, which you can't even do if you're doing a weaver because you need to be double jump. So
No, you don't.
also,
You
okay,
don't.
well, what weaver are you gonna do though that on a disc?
What do you mean? You don't think you're gonna fly up on a disc? I don't
No,
know what
no,
you're
it's not
talking
that bit. You've got to modify
So-
it because it's only for the string. Like, so
Exactly,
what are you
Bruce.
going to use it for? Even if it does
Beaver
count.
space is 2 discs.
I don't think that's possible. Like genuinely, because yeah,
So-
I don't think you could get the
Just edit.
mobility from them without breaking.
As God, I've decided that I'm starting to not care about this argument as much. Is
Yeah,
there
just put it up to the
anyone have-
vote, man.
Just put it up to as a vote. I'm going to vote against all of these personally. I think that the argument of they do 0 damage to somebody running Stubborn Adamant is a very fair point.
Yeah, at least
And
cubes do 8
also,
damage. Like a single
They
thing. and
aren't
it-
very risky, and
hit.
it'd be weird to include pillars but exclude balls. It would just be a very all funky territory that I personally would not agree with. That's my take on it.
Yeah,
Oh, Handley
what I'm
wants to
kind of
speak.
Oh yeah, that just reminded me. Stubborn Adamant. If somebody hits a stationary cube on someone with Stubborn Adamant, does that count as a hit?
Why the fuck is their cube stationary?
Because
Various
say for
things,
example,
that's
you're
it.
going in the opposite, like you're going in one direction, but you're swinging it over your head in the other direction. It could not have any like actual momentum, or like close enough to 0 that the game would consider it
Games
stationary.
like jank enough that that could happen. I could easily see
Yeah.
that happen.
Yeah, you
Okay,
could.
well,
It could
I
probably
don't, I
happen.
don't like the game in that, so I don't care.
So would that be a hit or not? Like we just should probably.
I'd
define that.
consider it a hit.
I think
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I
because
would
you
too.
didn't
Actually,
do anything
actually,
wrong.
We have a discussion about that. I have discussion about this.
I want to
later.
mention guard in relation to this. Like if someone
Don't worry,
guards your
I will
attack,
get to that, Dizzy.
yeah.
Smile, :3. Alright, does anyone else have anything else to say on this?
On what specifically? We mentioned like 4 different
Lower
things.
structures counting for ascensions.
Okay.
Guard should act as any other modifier for the purposes of ownership.
I didn't hear a word you said.
Guard should count as any other modifier for the purposes of ownership.
Okay.
If somebody's flicked, wait, how does that work? If someone guards your flick,
Dizzy, that is.
Same as someone's straight
Dizzy, I'm gonna
flick.
keep you on here. Actually, I've decided. Here, I would like to bring a clip to everyone's attention of.
yeah, I think I was of the opinion. I
well.
don't think that should have hit.
If you would like to watch my stream, I'm recording it in hyper definition. This is Soleo versus Yak. Soleo goes for Ascension. Yak dash jump guards
That's
into
fair.
it, which results in Soleo dying.
That's air.
That's error. God damn it. They're the same. They're the same individual. Cool clip
Who's
though.
the only person who records in that format?
Honestly, yeah, close enough. They're the only
And-
person I know that has that much freaking bloom.
I think that's an ascension for error.
Why are the trees glowing?
The
I
thing
disagree.
is, Yak wanted to be hit there so that it would knock error off.
I don't think it should count as a hit.
Yeah, I think guard shouldn't just immediately block anything because then you can just sit there, do one pose, and then automatically it
Oh, really? You
doesn't
just hit
count
over
no
the head.
matter what.
Hit over the head.
Guard
Also on the
to
landing,
me
you have a second chance.
same as like straighten it, which I don't think matters if your opponent straights a structure while you bump on it, or like while you flail.
I don't think guard's a modifier though. Like, it's
Uh,
it's more closer to like waterbending or something, in a sense. You just take some damage for it.
I mean, it has all of its.
It's non-destructive, so the
Aside
structure
from you
didn't
taking
break, so
damage,
it technically
you have
didn't hit
take-
anything either.
Yeah, like the issue is you as the person going for it did absolutely nothing wrong, and they sat there and did one pose, and it immediately
I don't think
discounts it.
standing there and just guarding it should count, but also you can still hit it if they do just stand there and guard. That is just a skill issue.
Like someone brought up that it's just as easy as straighting it. It's even easier because you don't need to time it.
Time it, yeah.
You can just sit there and do it, and it does, and it immediately discounts it no matter what, even though you did nothing wrong.
Isn't it the exact same as Explode though? like if you set off an explosion, of course you need to time that and stuff, but it's the exact same like result. The structure doesn't break, gets redirected, and often will hit you.
You're
You're just
I mean, the
standing there as
thing
a
is,
brick
though, is
wall
that
instead.
well, with an explosion, you still need to do some form of
Yeah.
actual action to counter it.
Well, God is the action.
And
It's trading some health. Like the cost is 2 health to deflect an ascension, basically. Rather than
Yoshi would like to speak. Anyone
go
opposed to
for it.
letting Yoshi speak? Good.
go for it.
Oh no, you were supposed to say no. Fine.
A trade still counts for an ascension. If you hit an ascension but get hit back, the ascension still counts. So I think that the same rules should apply to you. Even if your ascension gets guarded, you still hit it.
I don't think so, because I don't think you hit it because it didn't break on them or anything. All of these other count.
I hit you with the cube strapper. No, guard.
Oh yeah, because it didn't hit you.
No, you didn't hit me with that. I guarded it.
I mean, you took damage from the structure.
You took damage from the guard.
I would argue you got
Actually,
hit.
Perry Adamant guarded it, so.
So
I
wait,
mean,
hang on.
it's
Does blood stop
stationary.
count? Does blood stop count as a defense?
The fuck
Or
is
is that hitting you?
Bloodstop.
If you summon a ball, hit yourself, put the ball into hit stop, and like damage yourself as the cube hits you, and it's dead stops the ball to stop the cube from hitting you. Does that count as a defense?
I think yes,
I mean,
because you
Or-
It's the
didn't get
exact
hit
same as
by
guard.
the cube.
Didn't
That
get
is the
it.
exact same as guard.
No, because
not
that
really.
requires timing.
Oh, you did not
That
hit
requires you
you.
to time a dead stop.
Look, wait, it didn't hit you with guard either. It hits the shield in front of you.
That's
Well,
like saying
One of
I
the
didn't
biggest
kill him,
complaints
the
about
gun
guard is
did.
it expands your hitbox.
No, you didn't hit me. You didn't hit me. You just threw your your Thor Warhammer at my armor. That didn't hit me. It was hit my armor.
That's like saying
It's
oh,
more
well,
like a
he-
shield. It's more closer
That's
to
like
like
saying-
blocking it with a shield
okay.
though.
That's
Like, you can break
that's
your
like
arm
saying,
from blocking
they,
it.
No, it's more like
It's like
blocking
saying
it with the
they
shield, but
died
the
of-
arrow still goes through the shield and sort of jabs your elbow, and you're like, nuh-uh. It didn't hit me.
I would probably go nah.
that is it. You saying it didn't hit you, it hit the shield is like saying, oh well, he died of natural causes. You push him off a building. Gravity's natural.
Real there.
Like, like
I
you're still
don't-
getting
I
charged for
don't think-
murder. I'm sorry to
I don't
break
know.
it to you.
I don't think guard would like. I don't know about standing still and just guarding something, but I definitely think if it's used as a counter, it shouldn't really, because it doesn't break. It doesn't like.
I
hit
think
them,
that-
you use the shield to deflect it, basically.
If you want it
just
to
hit damage
feel
and
like it
increase
doesn't
it.
count, I feel like you should make it its own guard move and have it just take precedent and just have it be more impressive to guard intentionally an ascension.
Yeah, I might have to sell some propaganda, you know.
Just
but-
do propaganda.
Like I think if you do something like a perfect guard, then I think yes, that's a counter
A
because
perfect-
the cube didn't hit you.
Again, okay, wait, but blood
But
stop.
just
Yeah,
guarding it.
Guard is
Bloodstop.
just
yeah,
guard
blood
is
stop.
just
Same
blood
thing.
stop.
No,
though.
but guard is not just blood stop.
It's literally just blood stop.
Oh my god.
No.
because you get
No, it
hit
is the
by
exact
the
same
original
thing.
structure.
No,
get
you
hit by
don't.
the
It's
No,
right
you hit by a
thing.
shield.
No.
Yes, you do.
No,
Okay.
blood stop is when the structure gets hit. Guard is acting as a structure. It in every way.
not-
It
okay,
applies hit
okay.
stop to things it hits. It's,
So you're,
well, that's the
you're
main
you're
thing.
saying that using guard does damage to you without the structure being there.
Blood stop does damage to you.
What I'm-
Bloodstop does
okay,
damage
what
to you.
I'm
Bloodstop
saying-
is not guard though.
They're basically the
What
exact
I'm-
same thing, I think.
Okay,
Okay,
so then
okay,
guard
hold
by
on.
itself should do damage to you.
What do you mean?
We're
Like,
not getting
Bloodstop is
anywhere.
just
Put
a
it up to
shield.
the vote.
Yeah, because it's a shift stone. It's gonna be a little bit different, but like
Fellas.
in the way that they
we're not.
mechanically work, I think they're basically identical, except from the fact that guard is a shift stone and can be done at any time.
We're not getting anywhere. Can we put it up
What
to
do you
the
mean?
vote?
We're getting
please?
so much progress.
The every single piece of like guard tech essentially comes from like hit stop tech almost.
Alright.
There's a
Five
few
of
things
us are
from-
just
Well,
saying
Yoshi
no.
slash Busy, make it into a proposal. I'm sending you all to the ether.
Okay.
Except.
No, you cannot.
Oh no, Detalion, I wanted to keep you here. Fine.
Okay.
Yay! Okay. On
Why
to
did you
the
want me?
final proposal I have for this discussion. Should this count as an ascension? For all those with a shitty computer but still can somehow watch my stream. What they do is they bump up and then hit their opponent. They don't do a double jump.
Ascension or a string?
String.
Yes. Because we discussed this.
Okay, what proposal disagrees with this?
Uh, once again, it's sneaks. Where we discern
We
strings
changed it to
by
peak before going to below it. Yeah, alright.
Okay, I do think that a string should not require the flowstone because then that makes things like Weaver's stable space. That wouldn't count anymore, right?
Sorry?
And it still shows like the same demonstration of skill. Because doesn't a flow jump not allow a Weaver a stable space anymore? I heard that
Why?
was a thing.
So Weaver of Stable Space is a variant of Weaver of Space, where you are supposed to retain the mount throughout the entire catch, and by jumping off the mount, you lose the mount. That is what people mean when they say flow jump breaks Weaver of Space, Stable Space.
Because if you have to flow jump after the catch, then it automatically puts stable space off the table.
I mean, I think we are.
Nope. Well, okay. So problem is, I'm tired, and I think we're all in an agreement. And Yoshi, I'm putting all of the work onto you.
Give me a minute, chat.
All right, great. I'm gonna move down to the audience while you do this.
Actually, this is your job now. Listen to Nova thing. Unless you don't, in which case tell me beforehand so I can continue doing my job. Okay.
Also, Yoshi, I think you should put a thing in the thing that says just something like string should require flow jump.
I don't think.
Okay, what's the current topic?
Require
What are we currently talking
flow
about?
jump. Dam Seeker said that they don't think flow jump should be required, but I don't think it is.
All right.
It is required for an FGFA.
Okay. I'm here to manage things. I don't have arguments. That's not what I'm supposed to be here for.
Can you? I mean, technically, we didn't necessarily disallow it anywhere. Can you add them Seeker's proposal to just? Oh wait, I can do it. I can just.
Okay, I think you should reword that to say flowstone is not required for ascensions. However, double jump, you have to still reach the double jump height or near it.
I mean, I can, but okay.
Okay, I'd say right now I have a question for everybody.
One.
Mainly about the sneaks proposal, because
Which proposal? Can you put it in chat or something? Let's repeat it.
this one.
Oh, is the different levels of strings?
Okay.
Yeah, because it single-handedly solves like several other problems. So I think yeah, it basically single-handedly solves several problems at once. It solves flawless ascensions, it solves I mean mainly solves flawless ascensions while also allowing for different weavers whereas to require specific requirements while also not being overly complicated. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay, I'll keep you up here for a minute while I wait for people to raise their hands to say something. Okay, or we'll not keep you up here for a minute.
Okay, I'll still be here.
I know you have words about guard to say. Nova. I'm just bringing you up here, Nova. Sorry, I can't just bring you up here. I have to force you to invite to speak. Okay, there you go. Come up here.
Okay, what am I being wanted to say? I
Speak about jump height.
Jump height, right. So my opinion was that you catch it at like the normal catch height, 80%, and then just get to about 180% jump height before falling below the catch height. Doesn't matter how, you don't need flowstone
Let's get to
necessarily.
above jump height.
Yes, so that would still fall under Sneak's proposal.
How?
Basically, there are different strings.
Okay.
They require.
This falls under Snake's proposal in a different way. This is saying not a different level. This is saying just make strings X jump height. Not make a different string that with a different level X jump height.
Yeah, so that I don't know. So there is a problem with that because it's okay. It disallow okay. There is a problem with that because it kind of forces you to go against the rules for if you want a flawless ascension. Because for a flawless string, you don't want, assuming the rules are around, basically, for a flawless string, you're not permitted to wander around, fly around, and so you are required to go basically straight for the opponent. But this forces you to go up for no reason. Which
I think that
would be.
I don't have opinions. Well, I mean, I could theoretically have opinions, but I'm waiting for Thing to have opinions.
Actually, I'm just gonna write a very big proposal to add.
Okay. If nobody else is gonna talk, what's the proposal that is brought up, Datera?
Yeah, I'm writing one.
Okay.
Give me like 2 minutes.
Also, no one else is gonna talk, then I'm gonna talk, even though I'm not technically supposed to talk, but I'm gonna talk. I think that. Oh God, let me remember what we were talking about at all in the first place. Right. I think that this is implying a strictness factor on the immediately guide yourself towards the opponent. That just isn't being followed right now. Because also it means that a majority of Tapestry of Gods just aren't gonna be strings. Because they're
About
gonna
that,
need
that also
the
goes
flying
into
around.
my part of Sneak's proposal. Basically, the requirements between weavers, the requirements for strings are so different that I think we have to have multiple types of strings.
Okay, no, I don't. I'm not supposed to have an argument, but I have an argument. I think I'm bringing you up here.
Argue. I don't care. I'm the moderator.
Okay. Amazing. Brilliant stuff. Oh, yeah, that's right.
I don't think we should have flight timers at all. Yeah.
There's like 2 different layers of strings, that being the flying around one and the not flying around one. And I'm gonna be honest, I feel like for most I feel like for all of the weavers actually, I feel like none of them really care about how much you fly around. Like, I feel like it might just be an Ascension thing. I propose that we no longer care about how long you fly around for.
Dude,
Instead of
just put the policy in the meeting policies chat and
On
we'll
a-
move on. The
Yeah,
people already agree.
One sec. Okay. So this is my proposal for strings as a whole. 3 types of strings. Universally, we only care about the code structure. It should be at least 80% jump height. Ground string has no other requirements. Regular string is at least double jump, and there's string 300% jump height. The names are just work in progress, and
okay.
To clarify,
so
when you say jump height, do you mean multipliers of 2.6, or if I were to jump twice at the same moment, or if I were to jump thrice at the same moment?
multiplier of 2.6, but the exact values can be tweaked later.
Okay, we're gonna do multipliers of 2.5, I've decided, because that's actually a really clean number.
Okay.
So, for clarification, 2.5 cubes, 5 cubes, 7.5 cubes would also look like jump, jump, flick, jump, 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 flick. That's essentially what they're saying.
Yeah, and also each of those can be wandering. That means that there is no rule for you have to go straight with the opponent. Now, about your question about the grounded string scout for weavers. The weavers decide which strings they allow. But basically, if you allow, they just say which is the minimal string they allow. So, for example, let's say Shules does Weaver of Fate and says that it should be basically just regular ascension. Then then Weaver of Fate would be a regular string with a puppet.
Okay, my proposal is instead of having all of these different modifiers and stuff, the rule about whether you can fly around or not, if it is still in place, it should apply to it should be part of the string. So if you're doing like the top level, then you can't fly around. Then that should just be part of it. And with like the grounded string or whatever, then it should be you should be allowed to, assuming that how things go.
I think that we have all the proposals, I think. If we don't, yell at me. Right now.
Yoshi, you must have no mind to think, no will to break, and no voice to cry suffering. You are the vessel, you are the hollow knight.
I lost my best friend.
My mentor, my mom, 500 men gone. This can't go on. I must get to see.
This is how you know that the meeting's over.
Thank you for your contribution there.
Actually, can I hear out of the people who disagreed with my proposal to know the reason?
I'm going to assume that nobody else has any more proposals. Oh, debatable is a proposal.
Can we talk about ground swing rules? We never covered them.
Oh,
What's going on there with
motherfucker.
swings?
Okay, hold on. Alright. You're gone.
Yeah, we haven't covered those yet. I
Okay,
think,
ground swings.
Timer and mobility like area. You can't like leave an area or use mobility moves on the ground.
One thing, your meeting manager, I think you should simulate if the controllers disconnect immediately upon hitting the ground, and if the structure would hit or not.
I don't think so, because you know the ground swings where you land and then you just like let your hands fall through.
Yeah,
and
see,
then
that's
the structure
that's the
falls.
idea. That doesn't.
No, but you let your hands fall. You know those where like it's like over your head and you have to let your hands fall to hit the thing. That I think is a valid ground swing. So then if your controllers disconnect, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
So I think it should just be a timer and disallow mobility moves.
Okay.
During that time. That's my proposal. Anyway. Yeah. because I don't like the
Anybody
arbitrary
have
or
anything to
the
say about that?
non-rigorous. But that's just what I'd like to propose for Grand Swing. Yeah.
Does Godweaver become Stringweaver? And does Tapestry of the Gods become Tapestry of the Tapestries?
No, it's Stringweaver and Tapestry of the Strings. But also no,
Okay.
because it's still gonna be Godweaver and
Okay.
Tapestry of the Gods. Because fuck you.
Okay.
Yes, because fuck you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, does anybody else have anything else to say?
I'm gonna
Yes,
leave because he's gonna be
motherfucker.
here for 12 years.
You can't get rid of me.
Hi,
I
Dizzy.
feel like God needs to be considered more because of some things I pointed out. I don't know.
I'd like to
you know,
mention now
can
that
discuss
you
it in
have
the meeting
thread,
meeting discussion.
you have thread
Yeah,
permissions and meeting policies. Everybody here does. You
Okay.
could just make threads if you want.
good to mention.
Please don't make like hanging threads based off of nothing.
But
Because that
but
fills
once
up the
you-
channel. But do make
Yeah.
threads based off of the messages.
if we're going off God doesn't God counts for a hit. You preserve the structure. So what happens to the structure after the God?
I
Does that s-
think
is it still
I
string?
think that what happens to structure is you turn around and you hit it again and you get 2 ascensions.
That's a take. I think that's a thing that needs to be considered though, because if you hit someone in the air, right, then that guard is going to temporarily give it possession again. I think, which in terms of the mod, I don't know, might be weird. But if it counts as hitting them, but you still have a structure that they modified, you've flicked, you can then just slam down and hit them again to hit 2 weavers in the same jump.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I just think that that's like the allowing guard has some consequences like that, allowing like hits on guards, which need to be further explored.
I
Go
mean-
for a Damp Seeker. I'll let Damp Seeker in real quick.
My bad. Oh, thank you.
Alright, what you
Okay,
got?
here's my idea in that. I think if you hit a structure and they guard it, preserving the structure, I think you've then used, I guess how I'd phrase it is like the ascension capabilities of the structure. So then it wouldn't really count
Why though?
anymore for
Yeah, but why?
something like a. Because it's an
'Cause you can
edge
just hit them
case.
again. You can hit them for no, you can hit them for so it'd do 5 damage if you hit them again. Or potentially
Right.
4 if you guard it twice, which is insane. And I feel like the guard user should be, that's respectable. And that's like a valid defense. But the thing is, past 3 damage, it tips over. And like they've now taken more damage by guarding it twice than if they were to just not have guarded it. Which is where I think it should count as a hit.
I think we're both going off of our ideas of whether the initial guard should count or not.
Yeah. But I'm sort of like
So-
Debate wait time.
What about adamant guard? Does that change the number of times you have to hit them for it to count? Like if the adamant guard a cube, do you have to now hit them like 3 times for it to count? Or
I'm not gonna lie, I don't really care. I feel like if my sort of thinking is, if a guard user manages to deflect your that doesn't even matter, because what situation are you able to hit them like more than twice with ground rules? So like as you land, you still have
They
that
guard it,
time as you
and
land to
bonk
like
them
hit
again.
them with the flail. So you can realistically possibly get 2 hits, but I don't think you'll be able to get 3. And like if you can, and they somehow guard it 3 times in a row, You suck. And
Oh
and
wait, no.
You could
I
remount.
have
You could
a
remount. That's how you could do it.
proposal once we're
You
done
could
with it.
remount.
You can what? Sorry.
You can remount. That's how you could do it. Because if you hit them
No,
and then
because
remount,
you need to catch it. Yeah, like
Well, then you'd
you're
have
gonna be
to.
descending after guard.
that's an air
This-
dash, and then you could the previous method.
Air
for
dash,
two.
you only have that once.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
So you do the you hit them, air dash remount, then they jump up again, and then you hit them and then hit them again on the way down. So
I
that'd be
gotta
great.
love hitting
I
5
suppose, yeah.
ascensions in one jump. I
With
think
the
it's
This
one
is why I don't think
structure.
it should count.
I think
Because
that's
in
great.
theory you could do shit like that, which would be like actually insane. It's cool, but like
I feel like at that
I
point,
think you
it's
still
more in the
have an
fault of the
option to
guard
count
user
if
for
you count it.
continuously jumping into the air and guarding your structure.
Yeah, but is that really a fair consequence?
Yes.
Because you specifically for also this is an incredibly situational thing.
Yes.
But
I don't know. I feel like it's a
the
weird
issue is that
option.
if we say, oh, if you guard it, then your
It's
ascension
going
automatically
nowhere. Let me
doesn't
discuss
count.
my
and people will
proposal.
start-
Me. Sorry.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
think that if it's guarded, it shouldn't count as a hit, but you can still hit it if they
We
guard it.
finally started getting somewhere, man. Okay.
No,
What?
we aren't allowed to get anywhere. Anyways, Weaver of Blood.
No.
Kill.
All right, cool. Continue as you were.
Okay, so as I was saying, you completely interrupted me. Where was I?
It's a bit
Ah.
annoying.
If okay. I hate you. Okay. Okay, what was I saying?
You were talking about
Great, well,
guard.
it looks like
Reset
nobody has
me. Why have
anything
you
left
done
that they
this?
can remember
Shut
to
up, thing.
say, so I'm gonna leave.
Well, that guy's gone. That guy's just gone.
He's a. I will make a thread about this because I think it's something that needs to be discussed a bit more.
Yes,
I don't have a
please.
stance on
Yeah.
whether or not it should count if you can hit multiple times, but I do think it should be something way more considered than just say, well, I still hit the shield in front of them, you know.
The thing is though is that hitting the shield in front of them, the shield acts as like an extension of their hit belt. At least the way that I see it.
Yeah, in some ways, but again, I still feel like it's too like similar to something like Bloodstop. The only difference is
I
they
think
just
y-
take... well, not really. The
Mm.
only difference is they take knockback, I guess, from it. But I don't
I
know.
think
I
either
feel like
way,
because it preserves and yeah, but the preservation is a problem.
Because the knockback taken is based off of the structure that hits.
Yeah, there is like
As opposed to Bloodstop.
definitely something. I don't
Yeah,
really know
Bloodstop
how it
preserves the
counts.
structure by making it not hit you. Guard preserves the structure because the stone said so.
Yeah, but guard is functionally very similar to hit stop tech in a lot of ways. So it's very very similar to Bloodstop though. Like it's basically creating a structure in front of you that well you just take
It's
damage
like
from it.
it's like Bloodstop, but it doesn't require any of the actual timing or skill of a Bloodstop.
Bloodstop doesn't require
I think that the only reason why you need guard for all of the hit stop tech is because the structure isn't preserved.
You don't.
If the structure was preserved normally without the guard stone, you could. I don't know. I can't say anything, but I'm pretty sure you could just do all of the normal tech.
Wait, what do you mean? You don't need guard stone for guard tech?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying you do need it, but only because it preserves the structure.
No, I'm saying you don't need it. What do you mean?
What?
Wait, what are you talking about?
I'm
Like
saying
guard tech?
that to do the guard tech, the only reason why you need guard
What
stone to do
tech?
guard tech is because it
No,
preserves the structure,
no,
not because you
you
need
don't.
guard.
Wait, no, you don't need guard stone to do guard tech. Like the majority
Well,
of it
yeah.
is just hit tech.
Because it's mostly hit stop tech, and the only thing
Yeah.
that guard does is preserves the structure.
What do you mean?
But okay, well the thing is though is that this isn't tech. This is doing one pose to immediately disqualify it. And even if you're saying the whole thing with
So it's
speed and
wait,
plus,
hang
I
on.
don't
So,
think
hang on, is it
I'm
just, like,
also
one pose?
hold on.
what did I say that was an issue?
Not an issue.
I just
More so,
think-
just I feel like this is you. I feel like I don't know if what you were saying was relevant to what I was saying.
Well,
Also, isn't
we're
flick
discussing
something-
like guard tech, and so what I think Busy is saying is that if you're doing guard tech to stop it, which is similar to hit stop tech, then it shouldn't count. But what I'm saying is that I wouldn't consider it tech because you're just doing one thing.
You ever seen someone guard behind them? Like,
No,
guard is
why
awesome.
does-
I think
They can
that
guard behind
when-
you.
the only
When do you
reason
ever need to do that?
There's lots of cases where you like guarding behind you is very useful, but
the only
that's
reason
like,
why
if
guard
someone
tech
defends by guarding
exists
behind them, that's insane.
is because it preserves the structure. If
No, it's basically
normally
it's a
getting
comprehensive
hit
thing,
also
so-
preserved the structure, then you could do all of the guard tech without guard.
Oh, are you talking in relation to strings?
Yeah, I'm talking in relation
cool,
to
that's-
strings
that's
and
very
like
different
without
things.
other
Okay, cool, yeah.
structures. I'm talking
Yeah,
like
yeah, totally.
you
but I
could
feel
ram
like
your face into a structure and then parry
I
his
would-
face if
I'd be
it
interested in what
just
debatably
existed.
thinks because a lot of things in the game like breaking on things is very important. The reason why Spectre Ricochet, for example, like dead stopping, so if you glance a structure, it can't break on you. And the reason things like that, I mean, if you hit stop the structure, I meant, it won't break on you. The reason that works is because you don't take damage because it can't like detect a break, or something similar to that, you know?
Yeah, well,
Structures to deal damage need to break normally, except from guard. Guard's a really weird edge case, and yeah. I also think guard's so rare that like no one's gonna be wearing guard that much, and if they do, you just need to keep in mind that they could deflect.
If
your
you guard,
thingy.
and essentially, they're still taking damage based off of the structure that hits them. It's not like guard is its own
Yeah.
structure that has a set
I
amount of
think
damage
that-
that it's dealing.
Yeah,
It's
but, like,
taking
what
the
else would
damage
they-
from the structure that hits them.
Yeah, but like it preserves the structure, so the structure didn't really do anything to them. If that makes sense.
Cube
It's like
strupper.
If all your structures break, everything else. will
Say I
damage from
cube
it.
strupper you and you have guard and you guard it. Or are you going to say that you did not get hit by a cube strupper?
Kinda. Like you guarded it. What's the difference between a ground or a parry except from you take 2 damage, so it's just less.
The
Because-
difference is that
well,
you got
because
hit
you have
and
to
you
time
took
a
knockback
guard or a
and
parry.
you took damage based
Yeah. You
off
have
of the
to time a
structure that hit
guard.
you.
Yeah, that's it. You do not have to time a guard.
You do,
You
it's
sit
just
there
a
and
longer
hold the
timing.
pose.
Yeah, it's a longer window, but you still have to time it.
Okay,
Except it isn't a window, that's a door.
That's the the
Just
window
walk
does, yeah.
through.
Yeah, it's pretty much, but it's still a timing. Like
You still
Again,
have to
Time for
climb through a
windows
window.
are
this
not
feels
having
like a
guard.
thread thing. This feels like something you could just we
Yeah, if you
should talk
dash
about in
jump
a
at
thread.
someone and guard, then that requires timing. Like you also need to hit precisely like, you know, into them, and you need to match the angle as well. Otherwise they'll just hit around your guard and hit you anyway. Also, if you wait, hang on, if you do a weaver and then you guard it, do you end up hitting it on yourself?
What?
And then you guard it?
Like, can you do a weaver on yourself if they guard it?
No.
Oh, it's boring.
What?
I feel that'd be a cool risk, you know. I'm being silly. Okay.
Okay. Whatever you need to talk about, you can bring up in a thread. I'm moving you all down and finishing the meeting.
Modify leave first.
Motherfucker. Okay. What was I saying? Oh yeah, finishing the meeting. All right. Thank you everybody for coming to the meeting. I just need to double check that nothing else is needed. Yada 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 yada. No. Okay. Yeah. No. We're good. Okay. Thank you all for coming to the meeting. Please remember to vote on the proposals and meeting policies. Your vote does matter, no matter who you are, even though, even though reasons. Yeah. All right. Bye. Thank you all for coming. How do I end things? Can somebody tell me how to end things? How do I end things? I don't know how to end things. I'm leaving the stage.